Welcome everyone again to this Brewing the American Dream webinar presented in partnership with Accion Opportunity Fund and Samuel Adams. My name is Brittany Richardson and I am the Business Engagement Specialist at Accion or AOF. And we are a national nonprofit organization committed to providing affordable capital and business educational resources to entrepreneurs across the country. If you're not already familiar with AOF's work, I hope you'll take some time to get to know us. I'll be dropping a link to some of our resources in the chat. Our team at AOF is very grateful to our national food and beverage partners at Samuel Adams for their commitment to small businesses as well. As you may know, since 2008, our two organizations have partnered on the Brewing the American Dream program to support food and beverage businesses with capital, coaching, networks, and promotional opportunities. This national philanthropic effort has provided more than $86 million in loan capital, as well as best-in-class business coaching completely free of charge to more than 13,000 small business owners. That is totally something to celebrate. So as you can tell, today's webinar is just one of countless examples of Sam Adams' unwavering commitment to small craft food and beverage entrepreneurs. And we're so glad to have each and every one of you taking part in this. So to get us started, there's enough of me talking. I would really love to hear from our wonderful experts today. So I want to get everyone acquainted. First, we have Kartisha Henry. She is the owner of the absolutely delicious, and I can say this from personal experience, the Wing Suite. Thank you so much for being here, Kartisha.
Thank you for having me.
Next, we have Sophia Smacker. She is the Senior Marketing and Events Manager at the Boston Beer Company, and we're super excited to have her here with us today. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. Looking forward to it.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least, we have Mariah Calagione. She is the social impact leader and Dogfish Head co-founder at the Boston Beer Company. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mariah.
Super excited to be here. So thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yay. Okay, so we've got our topic, we've got our experts, and now we are going to jump into this conversation. So I would really love to start with you, Mariah, and just get down to the basics. Why is customer loyalty even important?
Well, I mean, when you think about it, your customers are probably your most important asset of your entire business organization. You might have, hard assets, you might have leases, you might have, a whole bunch of things that make up your business, but without customers, there is nothing that, that you really else you need to have. But we found, and I think many small businesses find, that you don't just want customers who walk in and just are transactional, transactions. You want to build relationships with your customers, and that relationships, we find those, the deeper the relationship, the more loyalty you have. And those are the customers that are going to support you through thick and thin and sort of become part of your business and really help shape your business if you're listening to your customers. So for us, customer loyalty, we started as a single brew pub restaurant in coastal Delaware 27 years ago. And we were actually the smallest commercial brewery in the United States at that time. And so our customers were the people who walked into the restaurant and ordered a beer, ordered a pizza. And so we formed relationships with them, whether that was, a server at a table, a bartender over the bar. And they've supported us all along, and we still have many, many customers who were with us in that very early days.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love this concept of they're an asset to your business and you want them to keep coming back. It's vital to the success of your business. And Kartisha, as a small business owner yourself as well, I'd love to hear from you. Why do you think customer loyalty is important?
Customer loyalty is definitely important because you want the customer to feel included. You want them to feel included in your growth. You want them to feel included in your items that you're serving or your services that you provide. You want to make them feel like that not only are they a customer or a client, but they're part of what you're growing. They're part of more than just, they're part of more than just a transaction. They are a part of the growth of your business. We have many customers that come in and they've been customers since we first opened our doors 3.5 years ago. And they're like, wow, like I've seen the growth. You know, I've seen where you guys had one table, now you have 10, and it's amazing. So we definitely try to keep them included in the company as well as reward them for being loyal.
Yes, I love that. They're like on the journey with you as you grow and expand. That's wonderful. And then, Kartisha, just to stay with you a bit on this idea of loyalty, what are the first steps that a small business owner should take when they're trying to cultivate this loyalty with their customers?
First, I think you should definitely look into different programs, and you have to find the best fit for you. Some programs require more of a financial investment up front. Others don't. So you should definitely look and see what your options are. There are tons available. I know in every area, a lot of the POS systems, they actually have reward programs now. So from Clover to Square to Cavalier, there's so many programs. So start there because they're usually the less expensive, but the more they stay in contact with your customers more because they have to process all of your transactions. So definitely start there, and then look in your area. Google is amazing. Look in your area and see who's available. We use 5 stars, which I absolutely love. And I recommend everybody look into it because it's not only based on customer loyalty, but it's based on customer retention. So you need both of those. And your loyal customers, they will come back. So you reward them for coming back. And if they don't come back in a specific amount of time, you can always give them a little nudge through those programs built on retention, and keep them in the loop. Let them know what you have going on.
Very cool. So this kind of system, it can connect with customers and just remind them, like, remember all that great food you had with us. Like, come and see us again.
Absolutely. Yes. So our 5 stars program, how it works is when you come in, you enter your cell phone number. So you receive all your receipts, and we say, hey, our first text is, hey, we thank you for joining our loyalty program. If we haven't seen you in 2 weeks, you'll get a coupon saying, hey, we missed you. Come back and see us. Here's 10% off. If we have not seen you in 30 days, it'll say, come back. Here's 15% off your next order. And then in 60 days, if we have not seen you, we'll give you 20% off. If we max out at 90 days, then we will give you 25% off. So we give you incentives to come back. And it's amazing, some of the stories when we're actually at the POS system and the customers come in and it's a husband and a wife and they're like, no, I need my points. And they want to put their number in because they want the points, they want the rewards. And I just love that they want to be a part of the program, because sometimes it's the customer's like, what do you want my information for? But with one of these programs where you just punch in your cell phone number, they know that it's not going to charge them anything. And they feel a bit more comfortable when they're not made to feel like they have to join a rewards program. You just ask them when they're checking out, would you like to join? And then if they do, they'll enter their cell phone numbers, and yeah.
I love that. It's just an optional thing. And then in a couple months, you're going to be fighting with your husband at the register.
Absolutely.
And then thank you so much, Kartisha. And Mariah, I'd love to kick it back to you as well to think about, what are some of the first steps a small business owner should or can take or in building this customer loyalty?
Yeah, so I mean, I think building customer loyalty for us has come down to really about building relationships. I mentioned our restaurant, our first location opened 27 years ago. I don't think we started our loyalty program, and Sophia can get into the details of that, but until maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So really it was just about building that relationships. Like obviously having long-term coworkers is critical because they are the ones on the front lines that really, have relationships with folks. And the more relationship someone has with a restaurant or a brand or wherever it is that they're spending their money and their time, the more entitled they're going to feel. And I mean that I use that word in a good way. They feel like that they are part of your journey and part of your brand, as Kartisha was saying. So for us, it's really starts with like asking questions of your table or of your guest, or getting to know them. And we have had, before we had loyalty programs, we had like regular, like Tuesday night is pizza night, or something like that for years and years and years. And so we see the same people come in for those kinds of promotional things, even outside of like a traditional loyalty program. And generally our coworkers that are working on Tuesday night are always working on Tuesday night. So those relationships get built, and then they have a face and a name to put to the experience that they're having when they're dining with you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Especially it's deeper than just getting your customers to come back, but like you said, employee retention, and they have someone that they're looking forward to seeing, Tuesday night's their night. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Okay, Sophia, I would love to chat with you about how you can engage with your customers that build loyalty. And like, what have you learned as you embarked on this loyalty program?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Kartisha and Mariah have touched on is it's all about building relationships. So I think that personal touch is the most important for engaging your customers, your guests, and how you can kind of build that loyalty with them. But then there's also the how do I actually get people in the door, right? And we talked a little bit about retention and bringing them back in. So I think this is where I kind of put on my like marketing hat, and I think about the ways that you kind of can bring folks into the door. So a couple things that have like worked really well for us at Dogfish Head, which Mariah had touched on a few. So having specific nights or moments that your guests can connect with and make it feel really like personalized and kind of create that sense of place for them. So we've done events like Milton Appreciation Night, where our brewery and tasting room is located in a small town called Milton in coastal Delaware. So it's recognizing those customers that live in that neighborhood, because we are a neighborhood bar in that area. So inviting them to come out once a year that they feel recognized, and we can give them something for free, and then in return they're buying pints of beer, they're buying merchandise, and it's their time and their moment to come and visit us. And Mariah mentioned on pizza night. So we do a lot of nights across our coastal Delaware locations. Bingo night, pizza nights. We're starting like a trivia night. Those are super, super easy to kind of create that community. And what I love about it is that guests also interact with each other. So the more kind of like fandom you are like creating, Dogfish has been around for 27 years, and so when you create those loyalists of your brand, they also want to engage with other loyalists. So it's really kind of that like sense of community. So having moments or specific times where they can kind of interact of like, hey, I see you come every like Wednesday night to bingo. So it kind of creates that. And I know in a lot of a couple kind of easy things. A lot of other locations in our area, and I'm sure you guys have seen this in your communities, discounts or special like appreciations for college students, for veterans, senior citizens, emergency service workers. That's kind of an easy one. And then a big piece, which I know Mariah and Kartisha are going to talk on later, is really like the online engagement. And how you are engaging with your guests when they're writing reviews, they're sending messages, because they're expecting a real person on the other end. So I know, and we'll chat through like our loyalty program here in a few minutes, but I know for our Dogfish Head loyalty program, we have an email help box, and there are like the frequent flyers of the email help box, and they're always messaging through, and I've gotten to know them via email, and then I see them at events and I'm like, oh, you're the one that always forgets your password that we reset. But like we love that, and it's like an important way to interact with them as well, and to kind of engage with them. And when they email through, Henry or whoever it is, if you got your loyalty programs, it's like, okay, I'm gonna reset your password, but by the way, we also have this great beer dinner coming up, or have you heard about this beer release? And they're like, thanks, that they love being like in the know. So lots of opportunity for engagement online as well as in person.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love, there's so many like key things you hit on. Like, one is having the community there, like that is a space for community. I've been invited to so many trivia nights at restaurants before, so I love that idea, because it's like, I'm not good at trivia, so whoever invited me, that's their problem, but it's just like such a cool way to come and try something new. And then finding those other communities of like emergency service workers, veterans, and then offering something just as thanks. I also have never heard of like kind of combining, like, we're going to reset your password, but here's also a great opportunity to, while you're here in a captive audience. That is such a great idea. I love that. Okay, so let's talk, like, I know we've kind of like touched on some specifics already of what each of your loyalty programs look like, but I'd really love to hear like more specifically what your loyalty program looks like and why you decided to do it that way. Did you initially say like, this is how I'm going to do it, or did you learn things throughout that made you change it? And so I'd love to start with Kartisha for that.
Okay, so our loyalty program is 5 stars. And I initially did not have a loyalty program, but I knew I wanted to have one. I think we were maybe in business for about 6 months before I started using 5 stars. Before that, I was using the rewards on my Clover system. So that was a way to send out messages to the customer, and they could also leave us a review, and it would come directly to the restaurant, and we can see, what did you have it? Did you like it? It was a thumbs up, thumbs down. And so based off of the interaction I received from that, I decided to go ahead and do something that was a little bit more robust, which was the 5 star. So with the 5 star, I kind of mentioned already, you come in, you put your cell phone number in, you receive all of your receipts via text message, you go in, you put your birth date in, you get a free birthday cake on your birthday. And so that was a way to also keep in contact with the customers. And after a few years, I realized that those loyal customers, the base that you're building, they are really loyal. So I wanted to do something a little bit more for them. So just recently, we launched our app. We actually launched it last week. And part of our app is that we're going to provide subscription services. So how our rewards program works, they get 1 point for every dollar they spend. So when they come in and put their phone number in, it's very clear how much money they've spent with us. And they didn't really, a lot of them didn't really know, how that works. So my daughter, she started telling the customers, you know how much money you spent with us? And we have one lady that comes in several times a week. And she's up there. She's a couple $1,000s. And so she told her, she said, yeah, you have spent X amount of dollars with us. And so that made me realize that when I go in there, because I'm not always upfront to ring up orders to know how much the customers is spending. I know them by face. So I'm in the back and I'm like, hey, but that made me realize that we do have very loyal customers, and I wanted to reward them even more. So a part of our 5 stars rewarding program, it has a you can add a cutoff on how many points you want to consider a customer a VIP, and then you can send them exclusively coupon codes or discounts just for your VIP customers. But with our app, we also wanted to reward them a little bit more. So we're going to do subscription services. So how the subscription services work is you will pay, and I have not completely figured out how I'm going to do it yet, but you will pay $50. And that $50 will give you 6 months of a subscription to the Wing Suite. And with that $60 and that subscription tier, you can get 10% off of every order you place at the Wing Suite. If, as a consumer, I love a coupon, I love a great deal. So we want to make sure that we offer our VIP customers that as well. And we'll have several tiers where, some are just for VIP, some are, just for those that are starting out with us. But always rewarding them. People love rewards. It makes them feel like when you go shopping and you see 10% off, sometimes you pick up an extra shirt just because I'm getting 10% off. And the thing about my business is we're in food. People have to eat every day, several times a day. So they are definitely coming in. And we're definitely going to reward them. And that's one of the first things, even new customers, when they come in the door, do you guys have any specials for today? And we honestly don't offer specials. We don't run any specials at all. The only way you'll get a special at the Wing Suite is if you're part of our network, and you'll get loyalty points. And we always explain it to the customer. And as soon as we explain, they're like, yes, let me sign up, because they want that extra discount and they want to be a part of the program. So for us, it's let's keep them inclusive. Let's keep them in the family. Whenever they're leaving out the door, we have a tagline. We always say, see you next time. Whether it's a first time customer or it's a loyal customer, we'll see you next time, because we're that confident that with our customer service, our food, and our loyalty program, you'll be back.
I love that. And according to your daughter, you'll be back and you'll know how much you spent there. I love that.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. No, that's so great. And it seems like your program has really evolved as you saw,
it has,
where your customers were willing to engage and how much they wanted to be engaged with you guys.
Yes. So that definitely has taken us to each level of customer loyalty. We started out as little, then we moved medium, and now we're at the top.
I love it. And that's a great note, right? Like, you don't have to start up here. You can start where you are and then see how you can add to it.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kartisha. And Sophia, I'd love to hear from you as well. More of the specifics of your loyalty program and why you decided on that strategy.
Cool. Yeah. Well, very similar to Kartisha, we had more of kind of like a fan clubby program, when we started. So we opened up our brew pub in 1995, and Mariah maybe can attest to, I don't know what year this started specifically, but we had a mug club program where kind of more like a fan club base, where every year guests would come in, they would purchase this mug club membership. So they would pay a certain amount, they get a mug at our bar where they get extra beer in. We would invite them to a couple events throughout the year. And then every time they came in, they got a specific discount, whether it be like 10 or 15% off. So we launched that, I would say probably late 90s, early 2000s. And every year it would sell out. And I've seen old lists where it was like very manual of a Excel spreadsheet with emails. And that's kind of how we would message and take on those mug club members. So as our business was evolving, so we opened up a few more locations since then. So we have our brew pub, Brewings and Eats, which is the home base of that mug club. We built our tasting room and kitchen at our brewery, which I mentioned briefly. And then we have a seafood restaurant next to our brew pub. And we also have a small boutique hotel located in a neighboring town as well. So as things are evolving around us, we started growing our properties, and we realized that we needed a way to evolve our program. So, more so than just kind of having folks sign up every year, how do we really engage them? How do we drive traffic in between our properties? Because we had grown so much since when we first started. So we did a lot of research, and I think Kartisha can probably attest to this. It is a ton of research when you're looking to bring on a loyalty program, right? It could be a pretty large marketing investment, and I will say for us, it is the number one most successful marketing investment. So we've had this program for about 6 years. So we were looking for a program that would interface with our POS, which is very, very important, because it really takes the hassle out of having to, add points on manually and things like that. We were looking for a program that we could also kind of customize, right? So our businesses have restaurants, they have a tasting room, they have an inn. So being able to work with a loyalty platform provider that would help us to kind of customize what we want that experience to be. So after kind of doing some research, we researched over 10 different platforms. We chose one. They are called Patronics. They work with a lot of restaurants across the nation. So we chose them. And then the next step was kind of building out our loyalty program. And similar to Kartisha, we really wanted that points model where when you come in, you spend with us, you get a point for every dollar that you spend, right? And then you get kind of that reward kickback. And why is that important? It's important because you're rewarding a guest on their loyalty and frequency. So before with our mug club, we were kind of offering that straight discount every single time that they came in. So they could come in once per year, they could come in several times per year. So we really wanted to kind of go with that model that got guests excited for coming in to visit us, right? So our program is called Off-Centered Society, and it is a paid program. So it's $25 a year, and we looked at free versus paid, and we really wanted to go with the paid program because we wanted to offer this as an investment to our fans. We are very lucky to have a lot of loyal fans, and building up that loyalty over the years, and people that are very passionate about coming to visit us and our products. So we wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of invest back in us. So they pay $25 a year, and you get a free gift with the program. So and we always kind of position the gift so that it is the cost. The program is the cost of what that gift is worth, right? So it's either in the past 6 years, we've done things like cooler bags, t-shirts, water bottles, all the kind of value that $25, but then they get all of this other goodness on top of it. So you pay $25, you get to earn points for every dollar that you spend. You get that free gift, the value of the program. You get a free pint of beer on your birthday. And then the great thing about this program is we're able to customize it. So we do tons of exclusive events, programs, exclusive offers just for our loyalty members being a part of the program. So it's way and beyond the value of that $25. But I think when you invest in something, whether it be $5, $25, you remember that you have it and you want to utilize it. And before I pass it back over, a big testament to that is COVID, when we had to unfortunately close our locations and only offer to go. We had tons and tons, hundreds of members, and our loyalty program is about 2,200 right now. When it came time for renewal, they just wanted to give us their $25 to renew. And they couldn't come and visit us, unfortunately, right? Because it was COVID, we weren't open. But they're just like, please just let us we give you your $25. I still want to be considered a member. And we're like, we promise, like once we open, you can renew, like you're in good standing. But it shows like the loyalty and the investment. So it's pretty funny.
That's so cool. What a testament to the program too,
Yeah.
that people are like, I want to be a part, I want to stay a part of the club. But I love how you framed it, the customers, once they love your product, they love you, they're invested, And now it's a way that they can invest in you. Very similar to Kartisha's subscription plan. Like, this is an opportunity to open the door for a customer to like give back to you in a way. So that is so cool. And I also love the name Mug Club. I don't know if that, it really just like rolls off the tongue. I know that was the old one, but it's very cool. So very, very cool. And we are seeing some questions come in, and I love that. Everyone, please ask your questions in the chat, because we're going to have these experts here for a live Q&A at the end. But before we get there, Mariah, I'd love to kick it back to you and ask you about social media and how that can be a tool in building customer loyalty.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of social media. Sophia laughed because that might be an understatement. I deliberately do not look at my screen time report on my phone every week. But I mean, we got in and jumped into social media, you know, years ago, when actually our customers said, hey, you guys need to be here. One of our customers created a fan account on Facebook before we even had a page, and they handed it over to us when we reached out and said, hey, can we also be a co-admin and just give you your fans more up-to-date, accurate information, and, you know, stuff that this fan in Texas didn't know anything about. So we got a Facebook page that already had a couple thousand folks on it from the start, which was great. And then another customer of ours who ended up eventually becoming a coworker, he started a Twitter and was like, you guys need to be on Twitter. I'm like, what's Twitter? Why do we need to be there? Who wants to hear what we have to say? But to me, the interaction that you have with fans on social media, if you approach it that way, is just as critical as the interaction you have at a table in your restaurant, or across the bar, or if we're at serving beer at a beer festival on a weekend. Like that, it's interaction. It's not us posting, hey, buy this, hey, this is tonight's special, hey, like we are basically putting out content that we think our fans want to hear about, like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like, hey, did you know this is how we filter beer? Like, it's more about like inviting them into sort of, you know, how we operate on a daily basis, or like, hey, let's go watch, like we make our own mozzarella. Let's go like talk to the team that makes our mozzarella at our restaurant. We make everything from scratch. Like we show people that, and it's not so much like, hey, we have a new baseball hat, you need to buy it. It's about sort of bringing them in, letting them see sort of stuff they might not see on a regular basis. And then not just like posting and like walking away, but posting and then engaging with folks. Kartisha mentioned in the chat, like replying to all the comments. We definitely don't reply to all the comments at this point, but we try to like engage with as many as we can and and especially if people are asking questions. And I mean, I don't know if for me, like, I don't even look at you know, a company's website anymore, particularly in the restaurant, particularly in these days where so many restaurants have altered hours because of, you know, not only supply chain issues, but labor shortages. So like, I always go to a Facebook page, like, you know, that's where you're going to get the most up-to-date information. It's much easier to update usually than a website. So for us, social media, you know, has been important as we've grown the business, and now, you know, Facebook creates a page for a location, right? So for a while we were like, we don't want to fragment our audience. We only want to have one page. But then all of a sudden, when we have 3 restaurants in a hotel, Facebook creates a page. So then we had to like start managing those individual locations as pages. So it's been evolved, you know, the whole social media world's obviously evolved a lot in the last however many years it has existed. But, you know, we're just sort of on that journey and sort of trying to evolve our strategy as the platforms evolve, as the algorithms evolve. But our general approach is that we want to talk with guests, not at guests, and we want to hear what they have to say. We can get a lot of information from our guests just by asking questions. This year we did, you know, we threw out there, hey, which of our beers would you like to see us bring back into distribution? And we got like thousands of responses. And then we were able to go back and say, okay, here's the one we chose. And then those folks that asked for that beer you know, how engaged are they? And they're so excited that this beer is coming back, and hopefully that means they'll go out and either come into the restaurant and get it, or come out and to the local store and buy it when it does come back. So yeah, I could talk a lot about social media, but I get excited about it. But to me, it's just another way to engage with your guests. You know, if you have to engage with them when they come in, you have to engage with them online, because they're out there looking and watching what you're posting. So it's right there for you.
Yeah, oh my goodness, so many good things, but I'm like talking with your guests and not at them. And you're talking about, oh, watch us make mozzarella. Like I'm like, I want to go to this page. I don't know how you make mozzarella. And it feels like inclusive, like we're all part of this community. And a lot of community is taking place online just because of what has happened over the past like few years, and how big social media is. So many good tips. And then I know I would be thrilled if I had put my favorite beer and it got brought back, or even if it didn't, but it was referenced, that you guys looked at the feedback, because it means that you're listening. And sometimes as a consumer, I'll just go to a page and see if a business is replying to comments. Like that tells me all I need to know if I'm deciding to take my business there. So much good information. Oh my goodness. Okay, gotta collect myself, because I was like, I want to talk about social media too, but we have to stay on task. Kartisha, what about you and your social media strategy, and how do you use social media?
So just like Mariah said, we want the customers to feel inclusive. We want them to think as if, or to feel as if they are sitting in a restaurant. So we do lots of pictures of the food while we're cooking in the kitchen. We do jokes, food related, something about wings, because we have a little bit of everything at the restaurant. But just something to keep them engaged, you know, even if it's only it's a joke and they reply with a laughing face. I'll reply back with a laughing face. It's like, and I try to, we're not as large as Mariah. So I can still reply to every customer, and I make every attempt to answer their questions. I just had a question a few minutes ago. We've been having some issues with our phone system. So right now our phone system is down, and we have not had a phone since last Tuesday. So I have constantly posted on social media to use our app, which we released last week, to use our delivery partners, DoorDash and Uber, and to go directly to our website. And we have not missed business one beat. But that was all due to social media and keeping in contact with the customers, letting them know what's going on. Because like you said, Brittany, I go to their social media pages when I'm looking for a business, and just to see, you know, what they're offering and what's going on. If I go and the doors are closed, I go to social media to see, you know, did they have an emergency closure, like, you know, what's happening. So we use it to keep in contact with our customers, to entertain our customers. We've done a bit of TikTok, so we have some TikTok dances. Yes, so we are on TikTok. We don't do as much on TikTok just because I don't have time, but TikTok is real fun. So we interject those every now and then. What I found about social media for us is that the Instagram account brings in the younger customers, and the Facebook account brings in some of our mature customers. So we kind of tailor our posts to each platform. Same type of post, but the caption may be a little bit different for Instagram versus Facebook. We do polls, we give away tickets to certain things, and then so we'll post, we're giving away the ticket, we'll post the winner, and then we'll post the winner participating in whatever event that we gave the ticket away from. So it's just a timeline, you know, a storyline. You want to, you know, make them feel like they were from the part of the conception of the idea to the end of the idea. So we like just to engage with them, have them let us know what's their favorite wing flavor. If we do offer a special, we'll offer it on social media first. We'll point them to our other points of reference. We also sell wing sauces. So we'll use that to, beef up the sales for our other products. And it never fails. Whatever I post on social media is the hot item for the day. So if I post honey hot wings are going to sell like crazy that day. If I post fish fry Fridays, fish is going to go crazy on Friday. So our customers really enjoy engaging with us, and they're looking for what's next. They're looking for what we're posting to give them an idea of what's for dinner tonight. So we don't want to definitely feed the people. So we feed them in multiple ways. We feed them with food and we feed them with their eyes. People eat all the time with their eyes before they eat with their mouth. So we try to keep them engaged.
I love it. Oh my goodness. It's also way too early in the day and way too close to lunchtime to be talking about wings and beer. So just a note for me. This is all sounding so good, but also like a great tool for you as a business to hear that your phone went down. Stuff happens. I mean, we can't control that, but having social media in place to help. So good. Okay. Okay, my final question before we go into the live Q&A, and I do see some questions coming through, so please drop those in. I think we'll have time to get to everyone's questions, so feel free to drop some questions in the chat. But our final question, I want to start with Sophia. So we've really learned about, how you can start, what it looks like, what each of our programs look like, but what if I'm a small business owner and I have a customer loyalty program, but my customers have really fallen off? How can I reconnect with them?
Yeah, I think to be honest, like as everybody was talking, I was like, oh, they're just like packaging up like what I'm gonna say. And so I think we've all like talked about this in like different ways today. But I think the biggest thing about loyalty programs, whether it is a technological program that you have connected to your POS, or even if it's just like an Excel spreadsheet, an email list, whatever, you have contact information from your guests and your fans, you got to use it. So, reaching out to them via email, text messages, whatever they kind of consent to, because a lot of times it's, well, can I send you text messages? They'll kind of opt in or out. But making sure that those ones that haven't come and visited you in a while, that you're able to connect with them because you have their information. There's a lot of loyalty programs that, if it's connected to your POS, they have what we kind of call banding, where they band customers. They create these bands based upon how frequent they're visiting, how their frequency and how much they're kind of spending. So if they haven't been in a while, there's a lot of automation that can be set up for these kind of more like high tech like loyalty programs, where it's like they haven't visited, I think Kartisha mentioned, in like 30, 60, 90 days, it's sending out an offer that is either 10% off or 15% off or 20% off or something like that. And I do love that, and I think that's a really a way to drive people in. But it's not the personal touch that I think we really love to have with the guests. So I think one of the biggest things that we have done with our loyalty members, and Mariah touched on this as far as like social media goes, is like really surveying our customers, whether they're current, previous, they have interacted with us at some point. What do you want to see? Whether it be beer styles or particular like beer brands like coming back, whether it be our merchandise. We did a really great merchandise survey a few years back of like, what kind of items do you like? What are you wearing? What kind of colors? Things like that. I think really those like customers feeling that personalization of like, wow, I haven't been there in a while, but they're asking for my opinion. I think that gets them excited to kind of come back in. And again, like all we're trying to do is build those relationships, create that sense of place, create that community, and make them feel like this is a relationship, a friendship, and a bond with them. So I think that's been really helpful for us of being able to hear, maybe why somebody hasn't come in, or why they haven't purchased a product with us, or kind of what they want to see more of. So that's definitely have worked really well for us. And then also, just having those like email lists and reaching out to those customers. They will unsubscribe if they don't want to, hear from you. But a lot of times if they've come and visited you a good bit of times, it's maybe just another, way to get them back in the door.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Like a little reminder of that you're here, but I love the idea of like re-engaging them, even if they haven't come in a while, asking, like when you said, what colors are you wearing? What things are you wearing? I'm like, that is such a great idea, because sometimes places send you stuff and you're like, what is this? So I love that you're asking, you're literally saying like, I want to know, we want to know, so we can provide that. Very cool. Thank you, Sophia. And then Kartisha, same for you. Like, how do you reconnect with customers if they've fallen off a bit?
So we definitely use our 5 stars rewards program. I mentioned earlier, we make sure that we have something enticing to bring them back. Just saying, hey, is not necessarily for us. Something to bring them back in the door. But again, everybody loves a good coupon. So we give them a good coupon with hopes of seeing them soon. And just a quick story about a customer. She came in one day and she said, I am trying to stay out of here. I'm like, what happened? She said, but I keep getting text messages from you guys. I said, well, you can opt out, right? She was like, oh no, the devil is a liar. I am not opting out. So to piggyback on Sophia, if they want to opt out, they will opt out. Otherwise, text them or email them. But yeah, so we definitely rely heavily on our 5 stars rewards program, and again, our social media. So it happens to me. I'm scrolling through social media, I see something, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I did say I want to try that particular restaurant, or I had that before and I want to try it again. So we just try to stay consistent. So we post daily, sometimes several times a day, but we want to stay in their feeds. We have across all the platforms, we maybe have about just under or right at about now 10,000 followers. So we try to stay consistent, stay in their profile, so that in their feed, so that will continue to pop up. Even if it's not today, you'll see us tomorrow. And if it's not tomorrow, you'll see us again the day after. But at some point, you're going to get tired of seeing our chicken and waffles and not tasting them, because you do remember how well they taste. So you're going to come back and see us. So keep post in rotation. Just always post something at least once a day. You can do it. I do it manually. I literally, before I get out to bed in the morning, I roll over, I'll create a reel, and sometimes I may create 10, put them in my drafts. And every morning when I wake up, I just hit send. It'll post to all of my social media sites. Or you can use different apps. There's Hootsuite. You can go in and make them in advance and set a schedule, a calendar, and they'll post them. And you don't have to always post new content. You can post the same content, give it a different caption, maybe change the background. You can add some music to. Right now, in the social media world, Reels on Instagram as well as Facebook are really big. Like almost immediately, you'll know the difference. You'll see the difference in your views with a reel versus a regular post. And I also want to say, don't rate the success of your post based off of likes, because there are times I post something and I get 1 or 2 likes, but I receive 20 orders. So that's, to me, that's always what I say. That's what counts. So I've worked with several social media influencers, food influencers, and other type of influencers. And this one guy family in particular, they came in and they were like, "Hey, we want to work with you." I'm like, "Okay, cool. How many followers do you have? What's your analytics?" And they showed me all this. I have a 1.2 million followers. I'm like, "Okay, so how many are in my area? How many are going to come through my door?" And if they can't show me the details of my audience, then it's not a good fit for me, even if you have 1 million followers, because I'm not trying to become social media famous. I need boots in the door. So,
Yes.
yeah. So definitely just staying consistent. Staying consistent is the key to social media, so that you can stay in the back of their minds or front of their minds. That has really worked for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point. Like really understanding your audience so you can kind of filter out those opportunities is what's worth your time. I love that. Okay, so we have reached the end of all of our questions, the questions we've come up with, but I see some really good questions in the chat. And so I want to take some time to hit those. So I know that Kartisha, I think you briefly touched on this earlier, but I believe it's Cynthia mentioned, how do you build relationships with e-commerce businesses where there is minimal, if any, face-to-face contact?
Like like Sophia said, if the customer is giving you their contact information, contact them. If you do not have a storefront, or you're not physically meeting customers, if you have a website and they have to make it mandatory that they have to create an account. So if they have to create an account, then they have to leave their information. They have to leave at least an email address, a phone number. And then with that information, you can also look into different apps or marketing programs that will send out just text message or just emails. Constant Contact is one of the ones I first used. There's so many. I think it's Community is a text message marketing program. So you find the information that you do have, you use that, and you build a robust customer loyalty list, and you send out coupon codes and make your coupons make sense for you. Because I learned the hard way. I was just trying to get out there. So I would send out large coupons, and it would come back that I think my very first year in business, I gave away about $20,000 worth of coupons, and I didn't even make a profit my first year in business. So I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I just gave away $20,000. Like, that is not okay. So after my first year, I revamped my entire rewards program. I'm much more comfortable with it now. But so you have to make it make sense financially for you. And there are so many programs out there to look at. And Google is amazing, as I've said before. Just Google it or ask another business owner. I tell a lot of my business owner friends, hey, this is what I'm using right now, and it may be something you're interested in. Ask another business owner, and that's the best advice, because they're going to give you the raw. They're going to tell you, the good pros and the good cons, and then of course you have to take it into consideration to see if it's a good fit for your business model. But definitely, word of mouth is like the fastest advertisement that anybody can do. So even if it's marketing programs, ask somebody, and you'll get what you need.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you. We have a question from Jeremy. It says that his brand sells beverages wholesale to retailers. Any suggestions on building a loyalty program that's not connected to the POS system? He wants to reward customers for purchases, as well as social posts, attending promotional events, and other things like that. And he's found it's been a challenge to kind of track these kinds of things outside of a POS system. Mariah?
Yeah, well, so the majority of our business is done exactly that way. Like, we don't sell beer to customers that walk into liquor stores across the country. We sell beer to wholesalers, and wholesalers are our direct customers for 90% of our business. So Jeremy, I totally feel your pain. Like, we don't know who buys our beer in so-and-so store in, so-and-so Oklahoma. Like, we just don't have that visibility. But what we do is we still try to talk to those end users directly through social. We try to give them opportunities to engage with us that way. We just ran a contest where we asked people to send us like a postcard, an old school postcard. So like, these are the ways that like our direct consumers that aren't walking in our door at our location or aren't buying directly from us can opt in. We've run some contests through our social media where people can win a trip to come visit us in Delaware. So those kinds of things. And then, just ask, those are the customers that we talk with on social for the most part, are the ones that are across the country. So we don't really have a loyalty program, on a formal loyalty program connected with those end drinkers. But that's who gives us feedback like on a regular daily basis. And so just creating those opportunities that might not be around, making a purchase or coming in your door, giving them ways that they can still engage with you and just being creative and see what works and try some stuff. We also ask people to send us pictures. Like, if they're tagging you in a picture with your product, like, that's right there, and they want us to repost it. Like, so when we repost content from end consumers who are drinking our beers across the US, like, I don't know, I love when a brand reposts something that I tag a brand in. So that's a way to sort of connect people to the brand even without a formal loyalty program.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh, I love that. I feel the same way. I'm like, do I work here now? You just reshared my post. See you on Monday. No, okay. Hey, Kartisha. So there's a question for you, and I will, this will be our last question, but I have some resources for those whose questions, if your question didn't get answered, there's a great opportunity for you to get some free coaching. So I want to pass that on. But Tara says, who did you use to develop your app? They're researching some builders right now. So
okay, so of course we're a restaurant, so we use ChowNow. We just signed up with their program. ChowNow is a new online order processor, and so we have changed from one processor to ChowNow, and they can customers can go directly to our website and place orders on our website using the ChowNow link. They also have their website. Their whole premise is to provide order management for restaurants that does not charge the surcharge that some of the other delivery partners charge. And a part of their service is that they'll provide an app should you want one for your restaurant or your food service business. So that's who we use. We use ChowNow.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Kartisha. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so a couple of things I dropped in the chat. I know we're just a little over time, but there's too much good information. We couldn't contain it in an hour. The first one is a link to coaching. So you can sign up for one-on-one coaching through Brewing the American Dream. So if there are questions that you have, they didn't get answered, you can use this link to get connected with someone from BTAD. There's also a whole bunch of other resources that I dropped from brewingtheamericandream.com, and you can check that out. I just really want to thank Mariah, Kartisha, and Sophia for coming today and sharing all of your great expert advice and your insight. Thank you for the laughs, because I had a great time. And thank you for all of the people who joined us today. We will be sending out a recording, and we're so happy that you're able to join us, and we hope you feel more prepared to run your business in this next part of the year. So we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Bye,
Everyone.
everyone.